How's it going, friends and family of the internet? Welcome to the Real AF TV podcast, show about fishing and random takes from the land of 10,000 lakes. I'm one of your hosts, Josh LaBaw.
And I am Tim Wagner. I was caught off guard on that one.
You were?
Yeah, because I was even looking down. We were just all of a sudden you were like, wait, what?
Yeah, dude, I caught myself off guard on the start of that one because I was like doing my producer notes, and then I'm just like, yeah. Oh, that's right. It's only that far along because we did a countdown, and then I'm like, and I look up and I'm, oh fuck, that took a lot longer to write than I was. But that's what I was saying in my head. Oh fuck, that took me longer than I thought. But what came out of my mouth was, I don't know what the fuck that was.
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention at all. I didn't even know you started. All of a sudden, I just heard the noises, and I'm like, "What the fuck? Oh, we're going! Shit!
What the fuck is he doing over there?" All right, dude. Let's do it. Let's kick off the fishing news. Extry Extry, Blue Marlin swims over 4,700 miles.
God dang, dude. Yeah. What is that? Like from the East Coast to the West Coast?
Overland, dude. It got in the river that goes from East to West Coast. You know, that magical one that they always thought existed.
Dude, isn't there like a skinnier part where North America meets South America?
It went through the Panama Canal. They actually
there you go. That's what I'm talking about.
It.
Just jumped that shit. They're fast.
It jumped. It was like a salmon swimming upstream.
Yeah,
going
it did
through
like
the
what a salmon does, but it gets so much speed it could jump like a football field at a time.
That's how it did it. Oh shit! I will get to how far that is as we get into the news a little bit. So the IGFA, everybody, no, I'm kidding. The International Game Fish Association is making moves to empower anglers to do citizen science. That was how I wrote that opening line of that.
Citizen science.
Yeah, you know what that means?
I mean, I could take an educated guess, but I don't know the I'm just like,
go ahead.
You take down your information, like log what your findings.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like an honorary scientist. It's like you're a member of the study, but you're not. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like, it's not your project, but this project needs hundreds of people to be working on it at any time. And so people who are just interested in the topic, in the subject, whatever, they get recruited by scientists, or they get asked to help by, someone doing the study.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Like we need a good sample size.
Yeah.
And the best way for us to get a good sample size is to just get everybody involved.
Mm-hmm.
So do yourself a solid and us a solid.
Right.
And be a at-home super sleuth scientist.
Yeah, that's exactly what a citizen scientist is, doing citizen science, so to say. Because
that was a good one.
What?
I know the citizen isn't with an S, but it sounded like an S, and doing citizen science, so to say. That was good.
I didn't even realize I did that. Thank you. Now I feel pretty good about it. I'm like, yeah, that sounds cool. Now that I heard it back. So yeah, the thing is we don't actually know that much about billfish, their migration and their habitat use and stuff like that. And I was like, that's interesting. I already future episode stuff. I already have a note billfish. So like we're gonna see some of that, I'm sure, in future episodes. All
right.
So that's the basis of this whole thing, is just like, we're trying to figure out what the fuck billfish are doing. That's what the scientists are saying. Probably those exact words. Scientists talk like that.
Yeah. What the fuck are these billfish up
to? So what the citizen science is they just got a bunch of sat tags and then they gave them out to sport fishers. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. And so this one, the thing that it's called is the IGFA Great Marlin Race. And it's an example like it's an event, right? As a whole, like that's kind of the study. It's not the study, but it's the kind of like the event that the scientists have put around it to,
Okay.
to get people interested and keep people interested, I guess, so to say,
Sure.
in a way.
Yeah, they like to do that all the time. You make it a competition or you make it whatever. I don't know
Right.
necessarily know what that is, but like that's, our friend Tony gets
Oh
involved with
yeah,
that stuff where they got to like weed out the lionfish so they make it into a derby.
a derby, right? But really,
Yeah.
it's actually its intent is to just like
Yeah,
really
it's like we
hammer
need to
on
kill these
a
fuckers.
invasive species. Yeah. And do science on them too. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you follow.
Yeah. Yeah, because then you can measure them and everything too. You take measurements and figure it out. So I don't
Right,
know if there's a whole lot
right.
that they need to learn about it, but at least they can see like how many did you catch? Where did you all catch them?
Where'd you
What was
catch
the
them?
size? Like, are
Mm-hmm,
they getting
mm-hmm.
bigger?
Right. Yeah, dude,
You
that's
know?
exactly it. This is the same. This is a similar thing. This Marlin race takes place over like throughout the year, and they actually go to different events that are actually so like they go to actual like angling events or
Yeah.
sport fishing events, and then they just give out the sat tags, and they're just like, so hey, at this, they had like the um I forgot to write it down, but the short version is they'll go to like a sport fishing event. They'll have a bunch of sat tags and they'll say, "Here you
Yeah.
go. I know you're going out to do this thing because you want to catch the biggest blue marlin for the day. Um, why don't you just stick a tag on it while you're out there?
Right,
And
right.
then you're
Yeah.
entered into this contest, which is like 300 days out of the year." And they're like, "Hell yeah, I'm in." Like,
Yeah,
why
for
would you say
sure.
no?
Right. Yeah. They're just like, you want to take a fish for us? Well, aren't you into a competition? Like, what do I got to do? Do what you're already doing. Just stab the fucker when you get him.
Right.
Oh, yeah, dude, I'll sign up for that because I know stab is like a thing. I think it's like almost like a hole punch. You just on the fin or whatever. But what is
But
the
yeah, you
race?
get it.
What is it? That's like a 300-day like tournament.
So yeah, not exactly. It just runs from a certain part of September till a certain part of October, or certain part of October until September. So there's only like a small amount of time there where it's not running. So that the reason I'll jump into like I could be off a little bit. Remember, if you go over to YouTube, youtube.com/@realaftv, remember Real Like Fish and Real, the link for this article will be in the description. But so it's like, I'll just say it's like 300 days out of the year or something like that. And the reason is because they're just constantly getting data, and they're just constantly wanting to get data from the fish. And
Yeah.
so,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
yeah. And so what happens is they just have to put a window on it so that way the competition closes. That's what it seemed like to me from the way the article was written.
I see.
Like you have to put a window of not opportunity to crown a winner and, start over for the next year and stuff like that.
Sure.
And so what it is it's basically who tags the fish that does the most travel.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
that's
So
why they call it the race, in a way, if you
yeah.
think about it. Yeah.
Yes. No, that makes a lot more sense because I was like, I don't really understand. Like, I know sometimes they call fishing tournaments derbies. So I was like, maybe it's just one of those where
Right.
you're like just using a different word. But a race is cool because then it's like, I'm going to take this one and that one. And like, I'm just trying to get more horses in this race, dude. I'm just
Yeah,
tagging and
dude. Right.
tagging and tagging because one of these fuckers is going to swim farther than anybody else's.
Yeah, and that's why the headline that I wrote was 4,700 miles, is because like that's what they use, nautical miles. I converted it to miles for the headline or whatever, but
Sure.
yeah, that's the whole point. So that winning fish, it's really cool. If you go to YouTube and you click in the description and on the link to follow this, they have some really
Yeah.
cool graphs in the article.
Okay.
And here's what happened, dude. The fish the first place fish from 23, because this This was written in November, right after, like this would be
Sure.
right around, I think, just after the new season started.
Okay.
So this was, we're in the thick of it right now with the 24 season. There's
We're in the thick of
nothing to
it.
report. The fish covered that 4,700 miles. It was from from the map. You look at the little map and they just said the East Coast.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I went, well, blue marlin, because it was a blue marlin that one. I was like, a blue marlin from the East Coast, so that must be Florida. So I look at this, I look at the graph in the article. This motherfucker was up like in Maryland or something, dude.
Yeah.
We're talking like the New England area. Swam all the way down, even fucking like covered the Mariana Trench basically out there in the middle of the Pacific.
Damn. Yeah.
All the way down to like the east coast of Brazil, dude.
Dude, that's so ballsy.
I know. All that fucking open water. So
Just
much like, oh my
God.
God.
Dude. I mean, they probably don't have the mental capacity to feel fear like we do, but that seems so sketchy.
I know.
Just to swim over that. Oh, dude, I don't know. I guess being a fish is completely different than being a human, so we definitely can't put ourselves in that situation.
Right.
But the idea of even swimming in the middle of the ocean,
right?
Going out to where it's deep is scary enough for me, but swimming in the middle of the ocean is just like no way. And just like I know that they're fast and they're built for speed, so the odds of them getting ate by a shark aren't great too. But at the same time, like, you're not immune to sharks. You're swimming in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And you could get fucked up. The biggest sharks in the world are out where you're out. And they're big. They're real big.
They're big. And where's your food coming? Like, I don't know if they're following food or what it is, but like everything that I've learned about the open ocean is like, yeah, there's nothing out there. It's just water.
Yeah, well,
I mean, they must swim down to where the fish are and stuff like that. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, when you remember when we were fishing in Jamaica, we were literally driving around trying to find the garbage floating on the surface.
Oh, yeah.
So like they still like relay to structure, but their structure in certain points is literally just shit floating on the surface of the water.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So there's hard to say where they're at, but like, dude, where are you going? I guess it doesn't matter when your job, like all you do is just survive. You just, I'm just going to swim. I'm sure they had a purpose. There's got to be something like instinctually.
There has to be something to it. And that's the thing. We don't really know. Like this is all just fresh science and they're just, or, it's ongoing stuff that where, like for instance, as of November, so this is November 23, the November that just passed here, about 600 tags were deployed. In 2023, the race tagged 59 fish of 5 different species. So like there's 5 different species of billfish. I didn't fucking know that.
Oh, yeah.
I guess
I'm sure.
Blue marlin, swordfish, the sailfish.
Yeah, those are the 3 that I would have named.
Now
there's a black. I think there's a black sail. There might be a black marlin. I know there's like a black sailfish and a blue sailfish or something too.
Yeah,
like
I've seen the black sailfish on BBC stuff.
Yeah, so there's just like slightly different colored shit like that. So I totally get it. They all look exactly the same. Their fins and the coloring is just a little bit different.
Right.
But a marlin is definitely one that stands out because he's got a way shorter. He doesn't have a fin. It's kind of like
dorsal fin is so much shorter.
It's almost like a mohawk.
Yeah.
It just kind of comes to like a point right there.
Yep.
Behind the head a little bit. But yeah, dude, that sounds crazy. I was just kind of laughing to myself though, thinking about, like it's probably just movement, like of the migrational, like during the year of where it was like way up by Maryland, because in the summer it gets warm enough up there for it to be like, I'm coming up here. And then in the winter, whatever, where it gets cold, whatever the winter months are down in Brazil,
This
it's
is
like
the inverse. They're in the south because you go below the equator and it flips for us. So yeah.
So yeah, for whatever reason,
it would be summer down there
time,
in our winter time, and it would would have swam down there for summer. It could.
So
I mean, that it didn't say that in the article, but you're on. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the marlin prefers it a little bit colder or whatever, so it's chasing the cold water, or maybe it prefers it warmer, so it's chasing the warm water. I don't know what it's chasing, but I was just thinking of how crazy that is, because we're like in lakes and we're like, where are the crappie? Well, right now they're real shallow.
Right.
And in the winter, they're over the deepest part.
Right.
And then like in the summer, they're kind of like roaming around. You're trying to find them.
Yeah.
But they're all like not that far off. It's all adjacent. Like, oh, they moved up here. They went back to the deep part. They're like here, all that. It's not that far away.
Right.
And then marlin, they're just like, are the fish in shallow or the fish deep? Like, well, he was deep, but now he's a full day's plane
ride
that way. He's way the fuck down there, dude.
Yeah. So you're looking for marlin? No, they all took off. You have to go to Brazil now. You get your passport and get your.
Yeah, that totally makes sense too. Where you get like seasonal, where you go up there and you just be like, "Oh, I was trying to get some blue marlin. We can't catch them now. Like we can. I'm fine with trying deep, even if we don't have a lot of good luck." No, dude, you're in Maryland. He's in Brazil, so we literally can't. Let's do something else,
right? But yeah, I mean that's the thing too about the article is like they're saying how this is, we don't really know that much, and so we're speculating, because we just as a whole as humans we don't know that much, and so this is all kind of fresh stuff, and wouldn't that be nuts to think that that's its pattern? Summer's here, winter's there, so it never leaves summer. Fuck.
Right.
For a fish to think about that. God damn, dude.
Yeah. That it just knows that it can do that.
Right.
Where it's just like,
What? Before we go into housekeeping, what was that?
I just like Birdman lyrics just started hopping in my head like a Finding Nemo style, like the fish can talk. And he's just like swimming down to Brazil, and just like, what happened to that boy? He just I'm the Birdman, Daddy. I'm flying any weather. he just changing the weather. Who sings that line? I can't remember who originally sang that one. Just bought a plane, so we changing the weather now.
Oh,
is that Luda?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one is.
I think so. I think that's off Red Light District. For some reason, that's making me think of Red Light District.
I think that might be the actual song, Red Light District. We in the Red Light District.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe that's not the song, but he's definitely like promoting that album on that song.
Right.
I can't, for whatever reason, my brain is not. Normally, I get a couple of lyrics and I can just go with the whole song, and I can't get past.
You just went from you went from a Birdman song to a Luda song.
I know
you're all you're just all over the place right now. It's hard to pin one down, but I do think that last line is Luda.
Yep. So he don't have a plane, but he's essentially that same thing.
Yeah,
he's built for speed, and he just changes the weather. I do what I want, bro.
Yep.
What do you like? The summer. What do you do when it's winter? I go to the summer.
Oh, shit, dude. All right, let's go into housekeeping. If you are listening to this, and that means you're on the long form, you're on the podcast. You clicked on this and you knew it was 2 hours long.
Yeah.
Share with a friend and let them know, hey, want to just a little taste? Go over to YouTube on the off week, because it's a bi-weekly podcast once every other week or every other Monday. And on the week when they take off, Wednesdays are fishing topics. Fridays are random takes. If you want to just get a little taste, those are happening on the off week over on YouTube. Remember, YouTube Music is now where the podcast is available. If you're a Google person and you get the video version, and all you have to do is click it and it goes to the audio version. You just click a button. That's how you get this as a podcast now over on the Googles.
Yep.
Amazon's got podcasts, Apple's got podcasts, iHeart, we're over there. Spotify, leave a comment on there. You leave a comment on YouTube if you're on the YouTube version. That's awesome. Because it's possible now. I go through that same rigmarole most of the time here. I'm trying a new audio thing, so hopefully my video looks a little bit better. I've been working on that for a couple weeks. Hopefully it's not worse. Could be. We'll find out. And don't forget, you can contact us. We're on the social medias at RealAFTV. Remember, Real like Fish and Real, and realaf.tv/contact. That'll just email us directly if you go there and just fill out the little form. We're not gathering your info and fucking spamming you with emails or anything like that. Just a contact. It's literally it. We do nothing with that information. So just want to put that out there. If you're holding off because you think we're holding on to all your info. Currently, nah. Just a way to chat.
Yep.
Anything else, Tim, for housekeeping? You ready to jump into this shit?
I'm ready to jump into this shit. I don't think I got nothing for housekeeping. I think you hit it all.
All right. Here we go then. Into the fishing topic. Blue walleye, man. Now, do you remember how we came across this?
Somebody caught one or something, right?
I don't fucking remember. I was hoping you remembered.
Yeah, I thought somebody like randomly caught a blue walleye. It was like, maybe that was the fishing news one time. Blue Walter caught. Like,
maybe that's what caught my eye with the news that time. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But we've known about it for a little while now.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's been a little bit. I mean, yeah, I say blue walleye and you're not caught off guard. That's what I'm kind of getting.
No. Right. Yeah. No, we've definitely talked about it before. I just can't remember for why.
Yeah. And I can't either. And if you remember out there, listeners, you know how to get a hold of us. So do it.
Yeah, you do.
Because I'm curious. But the reason why I bring that up is because I always kind of try to kick off a topic with like what inspired it or whatever, like I try to give that little bit of background, and I'm just going, look, this is fucking crazy. A blue walleye exists. And how is this like the first time we ever heard of it? Well, it was then, because it's been, I don't know, less than 2 years, I would say. No more than 3 since I learned about it.
Yeah.
Would you feel the same way?
I would say like 2 years. I don't think it's been that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because walleye is the state fish. We talk about walleye all the time. So like that just puts a little background of like, okay, how in the hell is this possible that there's a blue walleye, and being in Minnesota, we ain't heard about it.
Right.
That is where we finally get to this episode. So before we start, shout out to the Great Lakes Now for interviewing Chris Niskanen. Yeah, Chris Niskanen, a former St. Paul Pioneer Press reporter and former Minnesota Department of Natural Resources Media Relationships representative. When you put that in your article, and I have no fucking clue who you are, and you put that in your article, you go, this guy's doing some real reporting. I like it. I will take it. And
you immediately say, story checks out.
Right, dude. Yeah. And to the NANAF, the North American Native Fish Association, who also had an incredible article. He had photos. You could tell they were photos of physical paper documents that the Minnesota DNR had on file.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really cool. So other than one wiki reference in that article, which I was like, oh boy, I don't know about this.
Right.
It was spot on, good shit.
Nice.
And so those are kind of some of the articles that I was reading and taking in for this. Now, Tim, do you remember seeing photos for these things?
Yes, I do. They like the fins and stuff, and
Yeah.
the body itself are like way bluer. Like they'd look cool as shit, dude. I would love to catch one
Yeah.
because normally walleye are like brown and goldish. A lot of times they're very like gold looking on the side.
Yeah.
I
Very
want
gold. Hmm.
I pulled one up here. I wasn't looking close, but yeah, they're very blue, like just the whole way. They're kind of dark blue, and I was wondering if the eyes were any different color,
Ah, well,
and I can't really tell.
funny. You should bring that up
Oh,
because we'll circle back to me fucking up the scientific name in here in a second because I got to bring up the scientific name and you'll see why. But since you
all
brought
right.
that up, blues, larger eyes, narrower distance between the eyes.
Oh,
Yeah. So the distance between the eyes is narrower.
so they're
Does that
for
make
sure
sense?
like a full different. Kind of funny that we're talking about the blue walleye, being different than the regular walleye when we were also talking about the billfish being like some are blue and some are black.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
Right? Like, wasn't that was exactly.
yeah,
So if you're on the fish and cut, if you're only on the YouTubes and looking at the fish and topic by itself, yeah, that we go listen to the old version or the full version. We have fish and news, and that's what we were talking about. But yeah, wasn't that pretty crazy? So
yeah.
yeah, okay. So here's the reports of the blues, like physical appearance is that well, blue, which we were already talking about with that, and you can go in a little more, Tim, here after this, but the larger eyes, narrow distance between the eyes, um, they're that blue black on the side.
Yeah.
The fins, same thing. They tend to have a bluish tint on the lower fins. Um, it's smaller, reaching a maximum length of about 14 inches and weighing about 2 pounds.
Oh, yeah, if they don't get as big. Yeah, when you were talking about the fins, I pulled this up.
Oh yeah,
Look how cool that looks,
it's
dude.
so blue, and the tips are blue. So
It's so blue.
if you're an audio listener, it's like you took the tips of a walleye fin and
Yeah.
dipped them into like blue food coloring.
And
That's the photo you're showing.
you could see that finger, like they might have like turned up the saturation a little bit, but you can see like with that skin tone, they didn't alter it a whole lot.
Not a ton. No, that would be normal alteration from a cell phone at this in this day and age. Like every time a new phone comes out, they're like the camera's better. Well, they're putting processing on the photo automatically.
Right.
And that to me looks like they took it with a decent smartphone.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a
That's it.
nice
Like that and that decent smartphone, they pop the colors automatically. Like you have to turn that off. You have to be nobody does it. That's what I'm saying.
right, right.
You literally have to turn on like turn off like the camera's programming in order to make that not happen. That's what I
Yeah.
think on that one.
Dude, that's gotta be 2 pounds gotta be like the average though. Because
So
there's definitely some bigger ones in these photos.
okay, yeah, yeah. It says, and it was inches and weight about 2 pounds. Yeah, maximum length of 14 inches and weight of 2 pounds. So that was a quote I pulled from one of the articles. It was cited for the University of Michigan in 2017. So
Okay.
I don't know if they did mean average of 2 pounds. Typically, when I read when we get into things like this, it is more of the average, and that there's always an anomaly
Right,
one
right,
way or
right.
the other. But
Yeah.
what does that say to you as a walleye fisherman in Minnesota? That 14 inches and 2 pounds.
I mean, it's a good size fish. It's a um this like a perfect eater size, depending on
Mm.
what your
Mm-hmm.
slot limit is, you know. If you can
Right,
keep
right.
that like 14,
If you can keep it,
I mean, maybe a little bit bigger than that would be nice. Like
sure,
a 15, 16 inch.
but not bad. I mean,
Yeah. No, it's not bad. It's a
decent eater,
good,
decent eater.
yeah, decent eater. You're gonna get a couple of good fillets. I wonder if you would keep the blue ones. I wonder if the reason that the average is low is just because there's not as many.
Oh boy, we are going to get into it, Tim. We are.
Okay.
So
let's get
before we
it.
get into more things like that, let's circle back because I can't. Being video game guys, we can't get away from this.
Do I want to say real quick because I'm sure we're not really going to get into the eyes real quick. I wonder, and because the case study has got to be like relatively small because these are more like smaller. They're more rare.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they are more aggressive because if the eyes narrow, like the spacing, like
Okay.
they get to the front of the face a little bit more.
Okay.
Like I know fish are a little bit different, but like the sign of a predator is like having forward facing eyes.
Really?
Yeah.
Man,
So
I
I was
watch a
like,
lot of nature stuff, and that seems like new information to me. That is cool. Okay.
well, yeah, there's like people that's why
Right.
they say like
Yeah.
we're like that's where people are just like when people like to use that with the argument of when people talk about like vegans and shit.
Their
They're
eyes
just
are
like we're not supposed to end, and we're
Right.
just like we're predators. We have eyes forward because you think about like dogs and you know any of the
wolves and
canines,
big
wolves
cats.
and big cats and all them,
Mm-hmm.
like all the ones that aren't cows have their big ass dumb eyes on each side of their head.
Yeah.
You know they're always
like basically any kind of cow has eyes on both sides of its head.
Yeah, because they don't have to stalk their prey. They have
Right.
to watch out for predators.
They have to watch for prey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So shit like that. But like I know fish are a little bit different. But walleyes are definitely predator fish. So I was wondering like if your eyes get a little bit more narrow, are you even more aggressive? Like you are that more or does it just change the way you hunt more or less?
Mm-hmm.
Where like you're just more of a stalker.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
You just really got your shit together. Your pen and your pad. You know what time she gets off the bus. You
know? Yeah. But I get what you're saying. You make a good point. And to that, I say narrower space between the eyes, I think means closer to the top of the head, which might mean deeper.
It might not mean that they're like forward on the face. It might mean that they just
but both though, because like think about it if it was a dog, right?
Yeah.
Think about if it was a dog and it had eyes. Think about a dog with a snout and if it had eyes on the side of its head, and you close the gap between the eyes, you could go towards the snout in front face, or you could go towards the top of the head. Yeah. To close the gap in between the eyes. Ooh. Either way, on a fish, like if it's all snout, if the dog's all snout, like a greyhound or some shit, it's bringing the eyes more forward no matter what. So like you're right. And I think I'm right in this case because now the nose is so pointy of the front. Now when you talk about
that too, like maybe it's not that drastic that it really changes anything, but if the eyes become more narrow and they do go up towards the top of the head, so it means that they look up more.
Right. Uh-huh.
I wonder if like, you know, I've heard people say that crappies normally don't bite stuff that's below them. They don't normally swim down to get their food. They swim up to get their food. I wonder if a blue walleye is more along that lines where it's just like it's more rare for them to go down and try to pin your jig to the bottom of the lake.
Right.
You have better odds of like vertically jigging something above them, or you know, like a blade bait or a lipless crankbait or something.
Right. And that it would go, and maybe it's deeper. Maybe it lives deeper in the water. Like flounders are flat fish. Yeah. And so the eyes are on top of their head. They only look up. Right. So maybe that's a bottom dweller fish. So maybe there's somewhere in that. I don't know. We're interesting to think about, right?
It is.
Okay, so because I don't have any of that information for this, and we'll keep going. Okay, let's cycle back here quick. Scientific name: the blue pike, Sander vitreus glacius, also known as the blue walleye. A regular walleye is the Sander vitreus. Damn it! Here, see, fuck.
And it's called just Sander? That's so weird that ours
So Sander vitreus, and we definitely covered this in the Walleye vs. Sauger episode. I'm sure of it.
Dude,
Sander vitreus is walleye. Sander vitreus glacius is the blue walleye. It's like a fucking Eevee evolution, dude. They just add glacier to the end of it.
Just add glacier. Nice. Yeah, that's the blue one.
It's
the glacier one.
Yeah, it's the ice one. It's the ice version.
The funny thing that I was thinking of, it's Sander with an S, right? I was trying to scroll.
Yeah, Sander, just like Adam Sandler.
Yeah,
the comedian.
So the very similar fish that you find over in the UK and other places is called a Zander. That's weird that ours is like the Latin is Sander.
Right.
And like, is it literally supposed to be the same thing, but they just have an accent?
Right.
Is that a Zander?
Uh-huh.
That is a Zander.
Makes you wonder. But we did in the Xander episode. They were like, yeah, they're fucking pretty much they're the same thing, but they did separate at some point.
Yeah, which is crazy. I mean, this is the first time I'm learning that it's like a legitimate different species.
Well,
I was just thinking it was like a different coloring. Okay.
Hold on for a ride.
All right. I'm holding on.
Blues have been on decline since 1958. So you got to think about how far back that was, right? We're talking just after, or not just after, but like, I mean, 58, that's before the 60s. So I didn't do the math, but it's been a while.
Yeah. I mean, you said 58?
Yeah, that the species, they basically started seeing a decline in 58.
Yeah, that's less than 20 years after World War II.
Right. Yeah.
That's how close that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So super, yeah. Very valuable commercial. What? What? I kind of stumbled and had a burp in there.
Sorry, no, I'm just thinking like that was not that long, not even 20 years ago, Jews were on the decline. They're coming back up. And walleyes they're going down. That was just like when they started making their comeback is when the blue walleyes started making their dip.
A horrible joke that.
Horrible joke. If you didn't like it, be mad at Hitler. I didn't do nothing to you.
Hey, I laughed. I'm just pointing out. It was a harsh joke, and harsh jokes are funny. Look, that's how it's good, internet. Lighten up. Lighten the fuck up. Declined since 58. Okay. So they were very valuable commercial species. Especially on Erie and Ontario. The Great Lakes, Lake Erie and Lake Ontario.
Yeah.
And then it said on the Niagara River too. They said sometimes it was half of the entire allotted commercial catch of Lake Erie. We're talking about a great fucking lake here. A great lake.
Yeah.
There's so many fish in there. There's so much commercial fishing going on in a Great Lake, especially, and this is why I pointed out the 1958 thing is, this is 58's the decline. So pretty much everything we're talking about with the commercial fishing and stuff like that is before 58.
Okay.
So think about these Great Lakes and this, we know that there wasn't quite enough conservation going on back that far when it came to commercial consumption of fish. So yeah, sometimes it's half of the entire allotted commercial catch of Lake Erie. Commercial fishing records show that more than 3.1 million pounds of blue walleye were netted in 1885.
Damn, dude. That's crazy.
Now, there was no mention of this, but I want to bring it up and just see what your thoughts are. This is sort of a thought back and forth, facts, conversation.
Yeah.
That's how the Real FTV podcast works. We got 3.1 million pounds of this fish, which the best records we have show it was roughly a 2-pound fish. Away, it makes you go, holy fucking shit, dude.
I know.
Do you think this is one of those scenarios, though, where we're kind of getting, we have like a lot of records, 1885, there weren't like a lot of records being kept of the size of the fish. There wasn't a lot of this like documenting of average sizes or like trophy fish, stuff like this. There wasn't a ton of documentation like that. And we've seen it before. Like if you look back at old photos, even, in 1885, there was no photos. Not of a fucking blue walleye. It wouldn't have been in color anyway. So what's the difference? Anyways.
Yeah.
Where I'm going here is you can see even through older photography that there are like, here's how gigantic the, sailfish used to be off in Florida. And then now everyone's like, you will never catch a fish that big that they did back in, I'm just going to make up a number, but that fish was from 43. That was a 1,500 pound sailfish. You will never find that around anymore. Do you think that there's a chance the blue walleye were a little bigger in the 1800s?
I would bet so. I bet they were probably close, like rivaled the regular walleye.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would bet. I mean, there's a chance that they just never really got that big.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Different species can be a little bit different, There's definitely like the bluegills.
Okay.
The pumpkin seeds on average seem to be bigger than the regular ones. Like a lot of times they're just bigger. You can catch bigger other ones, but it's like a lot of times when you get a pumpkin seed, that thing seems to be like the tank. Okay. You get small ones a little bit every once in a while, but it's like there's fish that are definitely close. I mean, like take a spotted bass.
Okay.
Spotted bass and a largemouth bass look pretty similar, but the largemouth bass grows way bigger than a spotted bass.
Right. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. So you have the two, but I would agree with you though that I still bet you that the blue walleye in the 1800s were bigger than what we were able to record here. Closer to our time.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's like a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Like definitely,
that's a good way of looking at it.
The fish could have been bigger, but there's also the possibility of that species just didn't ever get as big, and that's why we're seeing those kind of averages now. But I would bet, definitely based off of some of the pictures I saw when I looked at it real quick, that if you're able to catch decent sized ones now, I bet most of them are pretty big. And I also think of like some of I don't know if they don't have the electronics that we have over here, or there's just not as much fishing pressure in some of the UK areas. But there's some dudes that are out there posting pictures of like pikes that they're catching over in the UK. I don't know exactly from where, but you can tell just like everything's slightly different. Yeah. And they'll have like 15 and they're all like 40-inch plus.
Jesus. Are you sure those aren't Xander?
No, they're not. They're a pike.
Oh, they're pike. Oh yeah, my bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this is called a blue pike.
Oh yeah.
And you get where my brain was going now.
Yeah. Sorry. I get you. No, all good.
Modern pike. Got it.
But like all those pike is like, you can't harvest that many big ones. Like here, it's like you can have one when it's big.
Right.
And they just got like a shit ton of them. And you're like, what the hell?
Right.
And I would see photos like that on the regular. I don't know what happened to those.
And they're new photos. Like, I mean, you're talking like
I was seeing them on Instagram all the time. Like I'd see them like with newer like fishing setups.
Damn.
And like good color photos. Like you could tell
Yeah.
it was like more of the modern era.
Sure.
They kind of dressed weird, but that's just Europe.
But that's just Europe, you know?
That's just Europe. That's how you know it's the UK, because you're just like, people don't dress like you and go fishing here.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, good thoughts. Good. So again, just conversations. Okay. So let's get back to some. So between 1950 and 1957, 7 years. Very
Mhm.
small in relative terms.
Yeah.
Records show that up to 26 million pounds were taken in a single year. So they're kind of talking about, they looked at records between 57 and 50, 50 and 57. And they show that there were 26 million pounds taken in a single year.
That's a lot.
Dude, are you kidding me? That's crazy.
That's so much.
Bring us up to 1964. Do the math between 57 and 64. I don't know. By 1964,
7 years.
another 7 years.
What did you say it was? 67 to 54?
57 to
57 to 60.
1964.
Yeah, 7.
Another 7 years goes by, and the fish dealers are reporting that just 200 pounds of the Lake Erie Blues were delivered to market.
That's so insane that they even had a good haul the last year.
Yeah.
They literally caught them all. And it must have just been them like dragging nets and just being like, awesome, look how many fish we got.
Right.
Doing it again, awesome. Doing it again, awesome. And then just over and over, you just be like, there's an endless supply. We will never not catch these fish. And then one year they just go out and there's nothing left. They go, God damn, dude, it's all gone.
Right.
We caught every fish.
Holy fuck, man.
That's nuts.
Wouldn't that be... I mean, it's devastating to somebody's livelihood, but also doesn't that make you immediately go like, uh-oh, what is happening to the fishery?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you'd probably just be like, oh shit, what do we do? The ecosystem is a problem, like how is this? But I don't know, some people are stupid and they just don't think about that stuff.
They just think, where'd the fish go? They must have moved out deeper or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's not fish, but I forget which emperor it was or whatever his name is. But I think it was definitely in an Asian country. I can't remember which one it was.
Okay.
But the one guy thought that I know I'm butchering this story, but it was something like he had a problem with some of the birds. So he ordered all the birds like executed, like kill all the birds.
Whoa.
Because he thought they were like eating the crops or whatever.
Okay.
Something like that. So he got rid of all the birds. And then once the birds were gone, there was nothing to stop the locusts.
Oh yeah. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's like historical or like accurate or
that one's like his story.
What are those lores or whatever?
The plague, the lores. No, this one's historically accurate.
It is.
I remember hearing like there was they had the people's names. They talked about everything. And what happened, and he was the one.
It's the one that gets turned into the story. Like it's the truth behind the like exaggerated horror story or like be weary story.
Yep.
But
kind
like
of shit. Because there's stories of plagues of locusts in the Bible, like all the way back to then.
Right.
So it's kind of that shit where it's just like plagues of locusts and it would be something like that where like something happened in the ecosystem that caused this. I mean, religious people would argue me, just be like, nope, it was a plague or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm talking like modern day. That's what happened over there.
Right.
He was just like, the birds are the problem. Get rid of all the birds. And then just like, oh shit, the bugs. So it's like that, like where they're just like, we need to get rid of but they got rid of all the blue walleye. And then they're like, what do we do now? Maybe that's how herring and stuff became popular. They're like, fuck, we got rid of all the big fish. Let's eat the little ones, I guess.
Yeah. Like I gotta fish for something else and like fill this gap in the market now.
Yeah. And they're like, but you can't even fillet them. You can't even get anything off them. And they're just like, don't even worry about it. Put them in pickling solution. Eat the whole fucking thing, dude. Eat the whole damn thing.
Them bones, they get soft.
They get soft. You put them in the right stuff. You just get them in there and you put them in a little bit of that juice and just make the bone soft. Eat the whole bone all, boy. Okay.
So I think we talked about this when we first learned about the blue walleye. And I said that, well, there's something to this, right? Like what is going on? And then I kind of had done early research or something. I said, hey, there's still people alive that saw this fish. Yeah. And one of the articles I read talked to some people that used to fuck around with the fish. And I was like, yes. So I have a quote and I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
Years ago, we would go out in the evenings from about 7 until midnight and catch blue pike. He explained in a previous interview. We didn't target them, but we caught a lot because there were a lot available.
Nice.
And that was an interview from 2014 of a 76-year-old man, Jack Tibbles.
Nice.
And that's what he said.
Tibbs.
Yep. Old man Tibbs down there at the marina in Ohio. Just saying, yeah, I know. 7 to midnight, we just go out there. Yeah. We wouldn't even try to catch them, but they were constantly biting. Makes me think about your comment of like, I wonder if they were more aggressive.
Yeah. I don't know. Could be, dude. Could be.
Right?
But they're just like, I don't know. You caught a lot of them? Yep. Didn't try. Caught a lot. Caught a lot. Hell yeah, Tibbs.
Yeah. So I saw those. There was a few more, but I had to pull that quote out and I was just like, yes. Because he says, we didn't target them, but we caught a lot because they were available. And it's just like,
nice.
Yeah, dude. He didn't say what they were fishing for, and it doesn't matter. It just was like, nope, they were there.
I mean, to think that that's your like happy accident. Like here, we're trying to fish for stuff and we're catching pike and bass, and you go, that's not what I wanted to eat. Mm-hmm. You know, like pike are fine eating, but they're hard to clean.
Right.
Bass are like not what you wanted to do. And then they're just like, yeah, we were accidentally catching the fish that was almost exactly like the really good one that we wanted to eat. It wasn't quite the same thing, but it was still such a really good. It was awesome.
Yeah. Speaking of awesome, dude, they said that like they were selling them as blue pike. Like it was the restaurants. It pretty much said, I mean, it did said that, oh, blue pike was on the menu. So like, it didn't have a menu. It didn't say you'd go and order blue pike. Obviously, blue walleye were on the menu.
Right.
But wouldn't that be cool? You go to it and it says blue walleye.
Yes.
Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. It sounds fucking cool.
Oh, yeah. I'd order one because I'd just be like, let me see.
Right.
Let me see if it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I would.
Be like, sorry, I got distracted there for a second.
No, that's all right. Yeah, I know.
And I just was like, what the fuck is that sound? But anyway,
I know. I thought I had bugs bouncing off the window before. I was like, fuck, that's gross. So I got the lights on down here. The bugs are just bouncing off the window. Oh,
sure.
Yeah. But I think it actually might have been a bug for a little while, but now it's raining and I don't hear the bugs anymore.
Just one bug.
Yeah. The fucking June bugs, dude. They hit pretty hard.
Oh my God, dude. Sometimes I worry they're going to come through the fucking screen door.
I know. You ever get one stuck between the screen and the window and they're flying? Just sounds like a fucking drone.
Dude.
You're like, Jesus, dude, get out.
You're looking outside. Who the fuck? What creepy neighbor? You bastards. Yes, I have my shirt off, but that doesn't mean you have to come watch me, you sicko.
You got a night vision camera. It's dark out, dude. You even see me? I can't see.
Can't see these man nips, okay? These are for my wife's eyes only.
Yeah. you better get out of here.
Okay. Here's where the story gets exciting.
Ooh.
There are records. There are records, dude. Minnesota DNR records of them trying to bring back the blue walleye.
Yes.
Like, let's get this Lake Erie thing happening again.
Hell yeah.
So, Minnesota DNR papers, kind of have this record. South Dakota had something to do with it. They actually took the majority of them. So in 1969, 9,000 fry were transferred from Pennsylvania to South Dakota and Minnesota. And the fry were believed to be Lake Erie blue walleye. Like they're like, okay, we got 2 Lake Erie blue walleye. We're pretty sure of that.
Nice.
We bring them into this facility in Pennsylvania. They breed them. They get 9,000 fry out of it. They send them over to Minnesota and South Dakota where they're like, hey, I think we got a plan. Give us a shot.
Hell yeah.
One article even mentioned it. Little Horn Lake up there in Itasca County.
Yeah.
In the Chippewa National Forest.
Yep.
Do you actually know where that is? I mean, are you like? I know where that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the name.
Oh yeah.
Like
okay.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be able to just be like point at a map and be like that motherfucker right there.
No.
But every Little Horn Lake, Itasca County, Chippewa National Forest, like all this is ringing a bell. So we're up north Minnesota.
Yeah, because I've been up. That's like Boundary Waters area.
Yeah, we're up there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we're in the north of Minnesota here.
Yeah, I've never fished anything up there. I've just been up there, so I'm like familiar with some. I've heard the names like when you're driving around up there,
right?
Right. But that's as far as it goes.
Yeah. Okay. So you were not into the like, okay, I'm following you. To like, oh, I've been there. Not, yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure because sometimes you surprise me with shit like that, Tim. Even as long as we've been friends. So it's a little 40-acre lake with a maximum depth of 68 feet. This is where I got to kick back to you, Tim. 68 feet.
40 acres?
Yeah, 40 acres. Yep.
Okay, that's small.
Yeah, that's when I said a little 40-acre lake. I was like, I meant it. Like I wasn't being sarcastic. Like that's
weird that I've heard of it because it's like that doesn't seem. But I don't know. What did you say? Maximum depth was what?
68 feet.
Damn, dude. So yeah, it's still that's a deep lake for how little it is.
Yeah, like for walleyes, even right? Like you don't need 68 feet for walleyes.
No, but I mean, like it just gives you the opportunity to have whatever. Like you don't have to worry about winter kill. You don't have to worry about nothing. Like
that's probably why it was selected. I mean,
there's definitely an ecosystem there, and maybe it is popular to try to fish that lake because of some of those small ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're easier to figure out almost because it's like if they're not here, they're there, and then you don't, there's not that many places to try.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. So you can get to this lake. I don't know if it's still fishable, right? Because some of this information was written in the, like 10 years ago or so. Like these articles are from like 10 years ago. But that's new. It's still new information. Actually 2 years ago, my bad. They were written within the 20s. The articles were written within the 20s. And so it should prove to be accurate, but as we always say, check your local regs. Things are changing all the time. Plus it's a national forest, so I don't know that they can really change that much. Anyways, back to it. You can get to this lake down a 500 footpath. That's how you can get there.
Oh, damn.
So it was selected specifically because it's fairly isolated. So then I wonder, it's isolated, because they wanted to, it's an experiment where it wouldn't get pressure from anglers and stuff like that. That was that's one of the reasons why they picked it. Maybe
I just heard of a different lake with the same name. That's totally possible because this doesn't seem like it might have been a possibility too where we're just up there just like you see a sign for whatever, or somebody points it out to you, like, yeah, that's the lake over there you can walk to with a canoe or something. But yeah, that's crazy. Like, now that you're like, oh, it's a footpath,
right?
And like, people don't fish it. Like, I don't know how I would have fucking learned about it.
But
I don't know,
because it has this lore about it, or like it has this history, that is turning into lore. Definitely. I mean, hopefully with this podcast, you know what I mean? It's got this blue walleye lore about it. So maybe you just come across it and it just doesn't sink in the blue walleye way, or people don't really share that blue walleye thing about it. Who knows?
Yeah.
So anyways, this was the lake that Minnesota had picked to try to bring back this fish. And this is in, 1969 when they tried to do that. And then 1983 rolls around and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services declares the blue pike extinct. It's gone.
It's gone. She gone. Yep. Yeah, dude. That's why I remember this. Like, I remember it being pronounced extinct.
Mm-hmm.
And now people caught this fish that was known to be extinct.
Right.
So it must have been in the fishing news one time.
Yeah. It must be. But I mean, it's extinct in 83. So the U.S. Wildlife and Fish Service declares the pike extinct, right?
Yeah.
And then I saw, this was what I was talking about in the beginning. There was a DNR piece of paper in one of these articles that it was a photo of a physical piece of DNR paper from 1987. And it says, this is a quote, "The fish looks suspicious, and I would encourage you to do some genetic testing." This is from the Grand Rapids Area Fisheries Supervisor to the Area Fisheries Headquarters down in Hutch, Minnesota.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to see Hutchinson on this historical, and it was literally a quote from the guy up the head dude up in Grand Rapids down to headquarters. He's just phoning back to headquarters. "The fish looks suspicious. Stop. And I would encourage you to do some genetic testing. Stop." I mean, it's 87, so obviously I'm making a joke there, but it literally was a typed up.
Stop.
Like physically,
yeah,
typewriter typed up and sent off.
"This fish is suspicious. Stop. It looks a little bit different. Stop. One might say things are getting fishy."
Yes, that was so horrible. It was great.
It's just like an old school pun.
Oh, that was so old radio, dude. I loved it.
Then the DNR person, you just see, like, if it was a movie, you see him reading it. He gets to the first line, second line. Knee slapper.
Okay, so here we are. We got 1983 declared extinct, but the most famous, it said, last known blue pike to be caught, we'll call him blue walleye to be landed by hook and line was in 1962. And I was like, this article didn't say anything. What the fuck am I supposed to look up? Famous 1962 blue walleye? What is that? And then I kept reading. I got from a few sources, and then I pretty much found it. This dude catches one, tries to give it to a DNR, local DNR. We'll just say DNR. This wasn't in Minnesota, but he tries to get it to the local DNR, and he's like, I don't know, no. And the guy's like, okay, cool. Wraps it up, throws it in his freezer. Because he just thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Keeps it in his freezer for 37 years.
Damn, dude.
I love that you laughing at that so hard. It's making me laugh. Okay.
Never.
So he keeps it in his freezer for 37 years. And in 1999, this fish that has never left the freezer finally goes into scientific research. He finally found somebody who wanted it. So the research starts, or like the research is happening, and then in 99 they get this like preserved specimen, and it, amongst other samples and stuff like that, keeps going. They're doing science till 2014 when they finally published the paper on the blue walleye.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from like at least 99 until 2014, they're still writing this paper and doing research and going through the science. Like, holy shit, dude. And it turns out the blue walleye doesn't exist.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what? So there are pictures of blue walleye. We can see pictures of blue walleye. In fact, there are, if you look up like old blue walleye, you will see a fish that does not look like our walleye of today. It doesn't not look like it, but it also doesn't look like it, right?
True. Yeah.
It has these features that we already talked about earlier in, like, this is true, like it has the larger eyes, the narrower distance between the eyes. It's blue in areas, doesn't get very large. But they were able to do genetic testing and stuff like that, and it turns out it's just a walleye.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
Now this is the part where I go, okay, fucking A. That's the story. It's a fucking blue walleye. Like, here in 83, we thought it's gone.
Yeah.
No more blue walleye. Science goes, no, there's blue walleye. You just have to go find out where they are. And they're just walleye. Like, it's all walleye. Yeah, I know.
But the eyes are different and everything.
So that's where I was going to go back to you, the bass fisherman, and say, like, but isn't there like a difference between a southern bass and a northern bass, really? Like, isn't there something about a largemouth bass from Alabama that just isn't quite right when you compare it to a Minnesota largemouth bass?
Well, I mean, the largemouth bass down there get bigger, and like, definitely, I would say more like, I guess there's a shit ton of different bluegill species. Because I was gonna say, like, some of the bluegills you get, depending on where you're catching them, will have like a way bigger mouth than some of the other ones. Like, where it's weird, like the bluegill that I catch up north a lot, you can catch like 1.5 pound, 2 pound fish and barely be able to lip it.
Okay.
You catch like a 1/2 pound fish in some of the southern areas and like have a mouth big enough to lip it. Like, this isn't even that big of a bluegill.
Whoa.
Why can I hold it by the lip? It's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's weird shit like that where it's a little bit different. But also, like, the bass, they're not different colors. Like, they don't look different. So, like, that's what's weird, where they're just like, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
That just seems weird to me. But I guess, like, it's just a pigment different. But why would they report that the eyes are different?
Yeah. And I have to think that this is just it's kind of what you said. It's just like there's just different ecosystems that these particular ones grew up in, and they're just not developing the same way,
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, this is thinking about the eyes and stuff like that. What I'm thinking is these were just the ones that used to live deeper.
I mean,
and so they had the darker color naturally, and then the blue pigment was coming from something they were eating or something like that. There's some stuff that leads to
that could be.
Yeah. So there's some things that I saw. They kind of allude to that it's the things they're eating, that maybe there's some sort of UV protector or something like that in this blue. So maybe that actually means they're towards the top. I don't understand how, or towards closer to the surface of the water. But then that throws out my eye thing. But that's also why this was so much back and forth with me and you of like theories and stuff like that. Because one, there's not a ton of record on them. But in like 2014, it got enough genetic testing and enough specimen examination where they were just like, it's a walleye. It's just It's just a walleye.
Had to do some testing. Now I'm picturing a whole scenario. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Like, let's hear it.
You got that old man just holding on to that shit for 37 years, just keeping it in the freezer forever. And then just like the kids, the grandsons are just like, or the grandkids are just talking to him, being like, he's like, back in my day, we used to catch blue walleye by the millions of pounds. And you're like, shut up, Grandpa, you fucking idiot. And then they're just like, you don't believe me? You don't believe me? Just goes in his freezer, just tosses a fucking frozen brick on it. And it's like, what's that? Huh? What's that? And then the grandkids are just like, they let it thaw and they go, it does look kind of blue. And then the one's just like, but what happened? How does things change in the color in the freezer? He said it's been 37 years.
It's been 37 years.
It could have done a lot of weird stuff. I've never seen anything frozen for that long. That's crazy, dude. And then they went and tested it, and they became the kid's life goal to just be like, Grandpa has never been right about anything. And just like after years of study, just be like, ha! You old dumbass. I've proven it.
You died 20 years ago, but I told you, Grandpa, you idiot.
Yeah, that's the movie. It's like a short film. You just see him walking out to the grandpa like thing, and
it's a comic strip.
He's at the grandpa's headstone, and he puts like a flower at the grandpa's headstone. And he's just like, "Good to see you again, Grandpa. I have news." Just throws the carcass of the fish. It's a regular fucking walleye, you old idiot. Then it just says Finn, like it's a fancy movie.
Playing on fish, though. Playing on the fish thing. Oh, shit. Oh, that's good. So here's some exciting news, in my opinion. I find this exciting and a good way to wrap this up. First things first is the Meat Eater channel on YouTube. If you don't know it, pretty big channel, outdoor channel. I'll actually put the link I'll try to remember to put the link in the description of the video. Because on the Meat Eater channel, there's a show called The Canadian Angler. And they caught blue walleye.
Oh,
like it's called willow stick walleye. It should be really called, the title of the video should be called Willow Stick Blue Walleye. I would have clicked on it faster. But he's like, he kind of explains it, he kind of says like, okay, so I guess there's blue walleye. We're going to go get some blue walleye. And they go out fishing for him, and he's talking to his buddy who took him to the lake, and they're like remote. He said like they had to snow machine out there. And they really had to go out there into this remote location. And he talks about it, and that his buddy kind of tells him who brought him to the spot. He's like, yeah, it's like the crustaceans or something that they're eating. And, there's been some research that says they're UV and stuff like this. And like, I saw all those theories too. Nobody's been able to prove it. Again, just back to the news, right? Like there's just nobody studying this. It's such a rare thing that there's just not enough. We don't know for sure. So there's some speculation, but like we know blue walleye exist. Google it, image it. Tim had one on already. Yeah. And in this show, in this Canadian Angler show, they catch blue walleye.
Yeah.
They're dark. He throws them on the ice, or they throw them on the snow because, if for those of you who don't ice fish, you just catch it and you throw it on the ice. It freezes the fish.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Turns the
Yeah,
snow
you got
blue,
an ice
dude.
box all around you. You say turns the snow blue?
Yeah. Like the fish turns the
What?
snow blue.
What the fuck, dude?
You can scrape, like, they're going to clean it and he just shows it on the tip of his knife and it looks like he has like a blue slushy on the tip of his knife.
Dude, it's got to be something in their diet then if it's just like permeating like fish slime.
Right.
I wonder if they're the same color like walleye and they literally have like blue slime just dyeing their bodies.
And changing them
Because
color.
that makes sense. Like with the like flamingos are pink because of the crustaceans they eat.
That's right. Yeah.
So it definitely makes sense that it could just be what they're eating.
Yeah,
That
and
it's
probably just another remote lake.
Mind blown, dude. How crazy is that too? Like if the DNRs, like we got a blue walleye here and a blue walleye here. We had the blue walleyes make babies and all this other stuff. And they're doing all this research and trying to bring back the blue walleye and all this other stuff. And they're just like, you can make the regular walleyes blue. Just feed them these fucking whatever.
Right? Yeah, because they didn't know. Yeah. And they did look a little bit different. I mean, there's evidence of that. But at the same time, a little bit, a slight mutation in a fish just because it looks physically different. Or it doesn't get as big. It doesn't get as big because it lives in the area where it's pressured more, maybe. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe they are more aggressive and they get caught sooner.
I mean, I don't see them as much anymore. And I'm sure that it's way more of a like, we just put dye in the dirt or some shit. But like, they had colored worms for a while. Like you could buy,
that's right.
You could get like colored. Yeah, there's like green tinted like night crawlers and shit.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So you can definitely make people what is it, colloidal silver?
Oh yeah, that's right.
You that could turn you blue. Is there have you ever seen that clip where there's like there's two guys in the car and they're driving, they're singing that song, and the one guy pauses it because he hears what the other guy's singing, and he's singing because he thought it was like I beat off a guy, I beat off a guy, and the other guy's like, "What are you singing?" He's like, "I'm singing the song." What are you?
I've not seen that one. That is fantastic.
But that totally makes sense. I mean, like, I don't know what the fuck colloidal silver is, but there's mercury in fish. Are they literally just eating another kind of fish that has like the stuff that makes the tint blue? Like that colloidal silver. I don't know what the fuck that is either, but I know that some people think that you're supposed to take some of it.
Yep. And if you take too much, it turns you blue. Yeah,
it turns you blue. You turn into a friggin' Smurf.
Yep. Yeah. So it very well could be. Here's the fun thing that I've left out too for the end. I purposely left this for the end. The Little Horn Lake, the one that they put the blue walleye in, or the one that they thought that they were putting blue walleye in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It has other blue fish. So what you just said, it's like it goes to the eating thing. Like there's that theory of they're eating something or there's something in the water. I don't know. Like that theory totally applies because it's other predator fish. They have blue.
There's other predator fish.
There's other predators that in Little Horn Lake that have been reported to be blue tinted. Largemouth bass and perch, dude.
Oh, dude, we gotta go fish that lake. I'm catching all the blues.
So yeah, it was like, I think it's just sort of, I don't know, a perfect storm of things. Like, hit us up in the comments on YouTube. This is where that happens. What do you think? What do you like? Because really, it boils down to is just like, seems like 2014 we proved through enough studies that it's just It's just a walleye.
Man, this is the best twist we've ever had on this show. This is a M. Night Shyamalan style. Like, dude, the whole time, like that one. It's almost as good as that one where it's like the old timey people. The whole time, the old timey people are just like, we can't go in the woods. Bad things in the woods, you're gonna die or whatever. And then they like zoom out, and it's like modern day age, and they're just like, you can't ever leave this area, because if you leave this area, you'll figure out that the world is advanced and there's cool shit out there, and we just don't want that happening.
We
Dude, you
just
can't
don't
go
want you to know
beyond the
about it.
trees. You can't go beyond the trees, dude. That kind of twist where you're just like, oh, I didn't see that shit coming. We're actually not in the 19, or like 1800s. We're in modern times. Whoa, right. I didn't know that. Didn't see that coming. Where it's just like, oh, there's a species that was alive a long time ago. And then they found one in a dude's freezer. And then they did the whole Jurassic Park thing. And then Jeff Goldblum is like, in nature, it finds a way. He's like,
just sitting there with his shirt open, and he's just like, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking crazy, huh?
Faster. Yeah.
But then to hear that little Horn Lake up there has like other blue, it's produced other blue fish. It makes you go,
yeah.
Yeah, man.
I mean, the part that really sold it for me too was like the difference of the eyes, where I'm like, oh, dude,
right.
They're like legit different fish. It's not just a different coloring.
Right.
And then later on studies go, nope, just different coloring. You go, oh, what? Shit, dude.
Shit.
And it's not even like real. It's like fabricated. Like they're just eating the weird shit. Whatever's changing them blue. Man, we got to figure out what they're eating, dude. If the other bass and the perch are eating, man, that's crazy.
I know.
But it was happening in Lake Erie.
Yeah, too. And it was happening in Lake Erie. Yeah. But like Lake Erie is also a great lake that has gone through so much change too, because of the way humans treat that body of water specifically. It makes you go like,
Well, I know that like the walleyes and stuff will eat bugs. I know that they eat some of the larvae. You always think that they're just kind of like chasing other fish and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be that. It could be the crustaceans. It feels like a crustacean bait normally, like a crawfish bait, works for bass, and it's not really used much for walleye, unless you're talking in the form of like a lipless crankbait, which we talked about on the last episode.
Nice.
But yeah, that would be crazy if they're just out there like munching blue crustaceans. Because I mean, the crustaceans are blue, but I think that's more like a time of the year. It wouldn't really explain why they're blue all the time.
Mm-hmm. Unless they really hang on to that pigment or something. You know what I mean?
Maybe a fish's slime is forever. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, it's like a wedding ring. It's forever.
Yeah, yeah, forever. Yeah. Who's fucking, is that Jared?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But
no, that was the raping boys. Young boys. That's right.
What?
You didn't hear about Jared, the Subway guy?
Oh, the Subway guy.
Yeah, I was making a fucking Subway guy joke.
I wasn't following that one. I was like, what are we talking about now?
Like that.
God damn, what? Where are we going with this? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jared, the Subway guy. Yeah, he did a lot of fucking up shit. I didn't watch his documentary, but I know that that's a creepy one. Tom Segura worked with him once on a commercial.
Oh. Okay. All right.
Anyways.
Blue walleye, man. Fucking wild, right? Oh, and now blue largemouth of Little Horn Lake? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah, dude. Blue largemouth. I think I'm talking like we need to get to the source of this.
I know. I want somebody to throw a bunch of money at that lake and figure out what's going on.
Yeah, throwing in the food source someplace else, because it's got to be something like that. But what I was saying with the slime, the fish slime is forever. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Mm.
you're supposed to like handle them good because it's like the enamel on your teeth or whatever. You can't get it back, but it's there and it's like gone. You know, once it's gone, it's gone.
Okay.
And it protects them from bad stuff.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's just like whatever it is ends up getting into that slime, and then once the color changes, it's just changed for good because you can't change it back.
Yeah.
It doesn't get diluted; it just stays there.
Damn, dude.
And that would make sense why it's changing the color of the snow and it's scraping off on people's knives.
Right.
That the fish isn't necessarily changing colors that much, the slime is.
Yeah.
But I mean, that would, if it's changing to that point of blue, I'm sure it is changing the fish.
It's got to be changing the pigment a little bit of the
You
fish
got like
too,
a gel dye on your body at 24/7.
Right.
It's going to change you.
Yeah. I think so.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts.
All right, man. Let's hit the break. You ready?
Ready.
All right, go. Here we are, patreon.com/realaftv. That's right, patreon.com/realaftv. Real like fish and reel. We are on Patreon, and we are coming to tell you, and by we, I mean me and Tim, Real AFTV podcast here, coming to you to say we have a Patreon as low as $1 a month, but hey, you could go up to $100 if you really wanted to get crazy with it. It's there. Go over to our website, realaf.tv. You can find the Patreon link right there, or go to Patreon and look us up, Real AFTV, Real Like Fish and Reel. And we have things like, for $50 a month, we will customize, what kind of tackle is it, Tim? We have some in the warehouse right now that we haven't actually ran.
A lure. Yes.
A lure, thank you.
It is a crankbait.
Crankbait.
Yes, we will customize a crankbait for you.
At the $50 tier. Also, Patreon, if you're new to the whole Patreon thing, if you're on a podcast, you're probably not that new to it. But Patreon is something that you can jump in and out of. Like if you do $50 this month, bam, you get the custom lure, but you don't want to do that for the whole year. You jump down to the $5 a month tier where you're going to get early access content. You can help vote on the random take, one of the random takes for the month. And, we'll keep up with you on Patreon as well. Like just a direct Patreon contact. There's communication you do only through Patreon. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you're new, there's just a little intro to it.
Yeah. And to clarify that custom painted lure is a fully custom painted lure, like the pattern and everything. That won't be just something that we have a lure that we just like write Real AFTV on.
Yes. Thank you, Tim. Thank you for clearing that up, because yes, it's a slug, for lack of a better word, right now, and it will be turned into something.
Right.
I'm not good at the whole fishing lingo, so maybe Tim, you could evaluate on that a little, or like elaborate on.
Yeah, I mean, it's right now it has no color, and I will give it color.
There we go.
It will look like a bait fish imitation of some sort. It might not be exactly colored. It might not be realistic. Some of that stuff out there that the different companies work with makes different stuff, but it will be a custom painted lure, and it won't look like dog shit. Because not to be like too full of myself, but I have some talent.
You have some artistic talent. Yes. Yeah, very true. If you know friends and family and stuff like that got a few bucks to kick our way, let them know. realaf.tv. Scroll down a little bit. There's the Patreon link. It'll shoot you right over. Sign up for a little bit.
Yeah.
How's it going, friends, family of the internet? Welcome back to the Real AFTV podcast, show about fishing random takes from land 10,000 lakes. If this is you coming here on Fridays, then you must just love
Doughnuts.
The Simpsons.
Yeah.
No,
I thought I was good.
Not even going to talk about The Simpsons at all.
I love donuts. Oh, good.
I didn't watch The Simpsons as a kid. I did. Like, it just never got my attention. And then South Park, and then my parents let me watch South Park as soon as it came out.
I watched the shit out of The Simpsons, but it was because I didn't have college TV.
Fucking
I didn't have college TV. That sounds like a porn site.
Yeah, it totally does.
It's because I didn't have college TV.
CollegeTV.com.
Barely legal teens. Oh man.
But Vagtastic Voyage, it sounds like a porn site. Why don't you subscribe to something like collegetv.com? Like that could be a bowling website or something.
Why is that a selling point for anybody? I don't get it. Barely legal teens. Just like, is she hot? Why does she have to be super young?
Yeah.
What's up with that? I'm just here for the pretty ladies.
You're right. not.
Yeah.
Also, probably not what you expected to kick off a donut topic on.
I know we're going a little bit. Yeah, we're talking about donuts here, but before we get into that, I want to know just how old is she?
Is she like Alabama legal?
Yeah.
Because then I don't know.
Because I mean, if she's getting a little bit, older, that's all right. And if she's too young, that's not okay. But if she's just barely legal, like, what? Such a weird ass distinction.
Agreed.
But anyways, no, what I was trying to say before I misspoke and it turned into a whole different thing was I used to watch a lot of The Simpsons before I had cable TV, not college TV. Because back in the day, you just had to watch what was on, children. If you didn't know, my son doesn't get it at all.
Right.
But you just had a certain time of day, TV would come on. You just had to watch what you got. And from like 5 to 6 o'clock, they would always air 2 episodes of The Simpsons. They'd be like 5 and 5:30.
Yep.
So I watched The Simpsons like every day.
Yep.
But it wasn't because I was a huge Simpsons fan. It was
because
like
it was the best thing that was on TV. It
was 100% my favorite show because that was as good as it got.
Right.
But it wasn't what I was hoping for.
Right.
I remember.
But it's right there just before dinner time or just after dinner time, depending on when you eat. And you're like, okay, TV time now. You're like, fucking right. Yeah. Simpsons is on because it's the best thing on at this time slot. And
I remember South Park. And I didn't have cable. And I'm like, I don't even know that show. And it's so fucking cool. I didn't even watch it yet. And they're just killing this Kenny kid every time. And then you hear everybody hitting the quotes. Oh my God, they killed Kenny. And I'm like, God damn, that show sounds awesome. And then my parents are just like, they kill that kid every episode. You can't watch it. And I'm just like, this sucks. And then freshman year of high school, like you showed up. Yep. And I'm like, yo, you had a South Park shirt on. And I'm like, you like South Park? Fuck yeah, dude.
My favorite.
My favorite. And then you were like, I have cable and we can watch it. And I'm like, I'm never leaving your house.
And here we are 20 years later, 20 some years later.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about donuts.
Yeah, I want to talk about donuts. Sorry,
we could just talk about South Park and Simpsons for half an hour or two if we wanted to. But
yeah,
nah,
I don't have The Simpsons were fine.
When we already talked about South Park. I mean, not that we couldn't go on.
Oh yeah,
but I just realized I really said park like a northerner. Park. I did. We could talk about South Park.
We could talk about South Park. You want to talk about South Park? Go down. I could make a hot dish. Grab a soda, a pop. Grab a pop. Grab a pop to wash down some of the hot dish while we talk about the South Park.
In our boat.
Dude, some of the accents are weird. I catch that on a lot of different podcasts. Harlan Williams has a weird accent where he was talking I just heard him talking, he was saying bed, but he says like bed. I was like, that's a fucking weird way to say bed. And I think he kept trying to say comforter. But he's like, yeah, he had to sleep in a comforter. And I was like, I still don't know what the fuck that was. I was like, you're just going to, because it was on Ryan Sickler's podcast and they went back and I'm just like, you're just going to
You're just gonna pretend that didn't happen?
You're just gonna drift over that? He said it like 3 times. You're like, that's just. Are you just going with it because it's Harlan Williams and you don't want to ruin the bit because it might be a bit? Or does he really talk like that? Are we not going to dig into this? Can you ask him, please? This is really bothering
Somebody
me.
ask him. And then all of a sudden they're like, and that's it, guys. That's a wrap. And you're like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. That's a wrap. He says weird shit.
And we're moving on.
Like, okay. Again for the next episode. All right, shit. I guess I'll never know.
Or done. All right, Tim. I want to talk donuts because I kind of want to make donuts.
Ooh.
And it's the creativity or maybe lack of, I guess, depending on your opinion, that's been happening a lot lately. So there's this, I think it's just a grocery store. I'm trying to think now. I can't remember if it's the grocery store or the gas station, but either way, that's where we get donuts in suburban Minnesota. You go to the gas station or the grocery store.
Yep.
And they have like Fruit Loop ones and fucking Fruity Pebbles and shit like that. And I'm like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
What the hell? Not in the dough, but in the dough might work. Just throwing it out there. Yeah. As I talk about why I want to make some. But there's this, like, what I'm seeing is sort of like a trend and even more, maybe more mainlining now to just throw cereal on top of a fucking donut. Have you, are you seeing things? Like, what else are you seeing? Because I think it's cool. I've eaten them.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit sweet because all breakfast cereal has fucking tons of sugar on it already.
Yeah. No, I've definitely seen it, like Cocoa Puffs and shit on them.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff where they're throwing like weird different cereals and stuff on top of it. And you're just like, I mean, what scares me about them all the time is that cereal, when it's not in the bag, gets stale. And you're just going to sprinkle it on top of the donut. Like, I'm not going to have stale cereal.
Right. And it takes like fucking 3.5 minutes for cereal to go stale outside of the bag with no milk.
Yeah. And then donuts are just like soft and you bite through and they like, depending on what kind, some of them melt in your mouth. You see like the glazed kind of donuts, and then you just be like, so I got that's like soft and you melt in your mouth, and then you have like the cereal sprinkled on top that's just like stale, maybe.
Yeah. I
mean, in theory, it sounds good, but even if it wasn't stale, I got crunchy on top with the soft on the bottom. Like maybe those textures will work together, but I'm still, I don't know, I'm weary of it. I look at all of that and I'm just like, do I want to regret this choice possibly? Or do I want to just go with a regular donut that I know is going to be dope?
Right.
I don't need to get crazy with it. So, yes.
No, I'm kind of getting there as I try
more of these. The idea of them sounds good. Like sprinkle a bunch of like fresh Fruity Pebbles on it, would be fresh would be great.
That's the thought, right? Like that's the making them part. Now that you say that, it's like, oh yeah. That's why you make it and try it instead of that having it sitting around. Even if they are freshly delivered in the morning, I already established 3 minutes out of the bag, no milk. That's stale cereal.
Mm-hmm.
It seems that way.
Oh, it seems to not take long at all.
And to throw it on there. I'm not a big fan of the soft and crunchy, like you said. So I have eaten these donuts with the crunchy cereal on top.
Yeah.
I'm not that big of a fan. It's like adding frosting on top of frosting almost. And with that harder texture.
That's why I like with the Fruity Pebbles, it sounded good because it's like a light little crisp. Like I've seen the ones where it's Cocoa Puffs and I'm like, that almost seems like it's too much.
Right.
Yeah, where it's that almost
big
gonna
ball of crunch and because I had one with Fruit Loops on it and I wasn't a fan of the texture. I just didn't think it was stale now that you say that. But it didn't it just didn't pan out. It was like it was too much. And they had kind of crushed up the Fruit Loops. It's not like they just took them in.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But they were like cut in half or whatever, just a quick chop.
But the idea of it is I think what sells it.
Where people
are just like
it's 100%.
I like Fruit Loops and I like donuts.
Yep.
Give me Fruit Loops on a donut.
Yeah.
Like, it's not what you thought it was. Do you like stale Fruit Loops? Not really. Well, then don't do that shit.
I have to agree. I have to agree with that. Yes.
But I've seen some.
Oh, go.
Oh, I was just gonna say I've heard of some other stuff too.
Yes.
Where there's like fancier donut shops where they start messing around with like bacon and stuff.
That's what I had down. I had just written down bacon. I have fucked with a bacon donut before.
Have you? How was it?
So it was a long, what are those called? Like Long Johns or whatever?
Long Johns.
But it wasn't filled with cream.
We call them Long Johns. I just learned on another podcast that they call them I can't remember what they call them. It was something else. They were calling a long donut something other than a Long John. Yeah, that was on Sickler's podcast, and they were like, he's from Baltimore, and they were calling it something.
Fuck.
Yeah, I think it's regional. I think they were calling it something completely different.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, they were like describing the same donut,
and they were talking.
It just had a different name. Yeah.
Okay.
Shit, now I'm losing.
Well, if you think about it, go ahead, because I'm not gonna filibuster or whatever, but I'm gonna say so a long donut. It's just a long donut though. It didn't have any filler in it or anything like that. I mean, it was the same texture as a donut, just in long form. Call that a Long John.
Yeah.
And the one that I had was a maple syrup frosting with one piece of bacon on top, like a long full strip of bacon on top of a Long John. So it just matched, I guess. That's all.
Yeah.
It was just a good matching physically, but one piece of bacon wasn't enough.
Okay. Yeah. So they were calling it Maple Bar.
Maple Bar. Well, I even just said with maple frosting on it.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
It was not called a Maple Bar where I got it.
No, that's what they were calling it, was a Maple Bar.
Really?
He said like a Long John, and he was just like, Long John. And they're like, yeah, it was like, you call it something different, like a Maple Bar. It's like, yeah, oh yeah, Maple Bar. So it's like Long John was just Canadian? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Well, I mean, it could be, but like Sickler's from Baltimore.
Right.
So maybe it's also Canadian. Maybe it's just a East Coast deal.
Sure.
I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. No, because we both called it a Long John, but that's
so because it says alternative names is cream stick, filled stick, chocolate bar, and maple bar.
Yeah.
So I think they actually call it a chocolate bar, but then what the fuck do you call it? Chocolate bar?
Then what do you call an actual bar of chocolate?
Yeah, candy bar. You just call that a candy bar, and then a chocolate bar. Why are you even calling it a bar? It's made of dough. It's not a bar.
It's a dough, and that's why I said it's a donut. Like there are different kinds of donuts, like a scone or something, right? Aren't those the ones that are super airy on the inside or something? Isn't that what a scone is?
Kinda, yeah, but it's not really. That's like a pastry. It's not really a donut. A scone is
okay.
It's not really the same. You know, it's kind of somewhere in between like a donut and shit. I don't even know what to classify it as, because they're harder. They're definitely not as soft. And I don't know if it's fried either.
Okay.
You know, a donut is fried dough. And
right.
Scone, I think a scone might be baked.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. So it gives it definitely a different texture altogether.
Okay.
Have you ever had a cronut?
No. What's a cronut?
A cronut is like a donut and a croissant had a baby.
Oh my God. So that's kind of what I was thinking about. So no, I haven't.
Yeah, dude, they were all the rave like a couple of years ago. Like they were selling out everywhere. People were going nuts for them.
What?
It was before COVID. People were like losing their minds over cronuts.
Really?
And then they just like went away. I don't know.
So I'm trying to find, because that's what I'm just going to roll with that then. Because what I was thinking about when you said that was I was trying to Google there's this one particular donut that's at Dunkin', and it's a round donut with the hole missing, you know, like it's a donut.
Yep.
It's got the hole in it, but it's kind of got ridges on it, and it's yellowish in color, not the brown fried donut.
Yeah.
And when you bite into it, dude, it's like pillows. Fluff.
Oh.
I love getting it. And it has very little flavor. Very little flavor. Even though it's like dunked in just standard white frosting. You know, like water and powdered sugar, basically.
Yeah.
But it has very little flavor, but the texture is wonderful. It's so light and airy that it still has enough flavor. Like there's a uniqueness about the flavor because of the texture, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Crazy, man.
It sounds like what you just described, but
I bet it has something to do with like the eggs that you put in there, like the
Oh.
batter, and you can maybe like fluff them up because it
Yeah.
reminded me of, I just saw a recipe for, I think they were calling them like cloud eggs or pillow eggs or something.
What?
But do you know, like when you take egg whites and you whip them?
Yeah, you make. I mean, it's essentially. I used to. I do it on Christmas. Alton Brown's eggnog recipe has that. That's what you do with the egg whites.
Yeah.
You whip them. You whip them into whipped cream, but it's not whipped cream because if you don't add salt or sugar or both or something.
Oh yeah, because you got to add sugar and then it like makes it like sweet and it turns them into like a cream. Yeah, like whatever.
But just you're talking about airy egg whites.
So I seen a video where the guy took the egg whites and just whipped them with a beater, an electric beater, and made it like those fluffy egg whites.
Yeah.
Then you already have your yolks separate, right?
Yep.
You scoop like a mound of that egg white onto parchment paper. Then you bake that until they start to brown up a little bit. You take them out and you put the yolk back in the middle and you throw it back in the oven to finish it off. And when you pull it out, you have cooked eggs, but they're like this fluffy cloud with the yolk still in the middle.
What?
Yeah, dude, they look awesome. The texture, I bet, would just be this, just like you were describing, like just this pillowy version of like an over easy egg.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
That sounds so.
What would it be? A sunny
good.
side up? What is it where you just don't even flip it? Is that a sunny side up?
Over easy is sunny side up is with when you just leave it.
Yeah.
Cook.
So it's just like this pillow version of this
oh my
over easy egg. And just like how when you put the egg whites on top of what the fuck do you put like a cream pie?
Oh yeah.
And the you like brown up just the tips.
Yeah.
It was like that. It was just that like perfectly golden brown on the top. Like the egg whites just brown perfectly on the top. And it looks so good, like, because the outside's like just a little bit crispy and the inside's fluffy. And I was just like, ooh, I want to eat that. And
I want to eat that.
Yeah, and then that guy too had like this like really good looking like homemade hot sauce.
Oh, nice.
With like a spoon and just kind of like took the spoon and just gave it a little drizzle. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Oh my god. Yeah. That sounds so good. Speaking of hot sauce, that's a transition. But seriously though, when you said hot sauce, it made me think about donuts again. I had a hot donut. I had a spicy donut.
A spicy? I bet that would work, dude.
So they had like
sweet and spicy always works.
Yeah, and Dunkin' partnered with Hot Ones to advertise it.
Oh.
And so I swear to God, I ate it, and then 2 days later, there was a Hot Ones, but it could be the other way around. That I saw the Hot Ones ad, and then 2 days later, it came to the Dunkin' by me, and I was like, "Oh fuck yeah!" And I got it. I didn't care for it, but I don't like sweet and heat in that way because think about.
Well, I've never had it like that.
Yeah, because what's sweet and heat? Like, think of a good pairing of sweet and heat.
Beef jerky.
Boom.
Nailed it. Sweet heat, like beef jerky.
Teriyaki kind of, but then it's got the chilies in it.
Or like Chinese food. A lot of Chinese food has sweet and heat.
Yep. That was exactly where my brain went to.
Yeah, sweet and heat on like any chicken. Spicy.
Yep.
Like a honey sriracha sauce.
Mm-hmm,
yeah. Mm-hmm. That shit's good, dude.
So fucking good.
Yeah, I've never had like a donut like that.
Yeah. The donut sweet just didn't work because it was spicy fucking frosting.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, is that what it was? The frosting was hot. It was like
From
a regular donut with spicy frosting.
Yeah, from what I could tell, it was spicy frosting, and then the donut was supposed to just be the sweet dough. And there's something about that dough with the spicy frosting just didn't sit.
Well, yeah, you'd have to have the right kind of spice too. You'd think they dial that in, but you got to have the right kind of heat. Yeah, it doesn't all like the different heats. Like the different peppers definitely have their own flavor. Like a habanero,
dude,
doesn't work with everything,
right?
And it definitely shouldn't be a vinegar based like hot sauce,
right?
That would be weird.
It'll be too acidic. It won't give you a donut feel anymore. At that point, it's gonna pull you away from it.
Yeah, like a little bit of sriracha in the stuff, I think would probably work. But
I think again, we're getting to the like, there's ideas out there, and it would be fun to make something to try to like dial it in, because right away you go, so same thing, sweet and heat should work, and then you think, and then I say it doesn't work, and you start, now I don't know if I'll ever make donuts. I hate the idea of cutting out the piece of dough and then, but I guess donut holes, right? That's what they're for.
Yeah,
but it's a lot of work. Even though I really want to, it's a theoretical idea. So I love just talking about it and just like getting these ideas out there and going, what we're really talking about here is a sweet dough and then pairing a good pepper with it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
A little bacon on top.
Or you just got to get the right sauce to start with. Like the, what do they call it? Is it just called tiger sauce? Like an Asian hot sauce you can buy that's literally called like tiger sauce or something.
Okay.
And it's like a super sweet like chili sauce, but it's hot.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I've had that stuff.
Yeah.
Is it got flakes in it? Like, can you see flakes in it?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And then stir that in with some frosting. The thing is with that, I think you'd be able to test that out to see if it would be good before you ever even put it on a donut.
See, that's what I was thinking. Don't you think you could just make some spicy frosting? Yeah.
Yeah, if your frosting is good, that's going to work on a donut, I think.
If your frosting's good, it'll work on a donut.
Yeah.
Boom.
Put it on a shirt.
Yeah. Do you eat the donuts that have like pecans on it and stuff like that? For me, again, it's the texture thing.
Yeah, no, I never had any of the donuts with the nuts on it. Like,
me neither.
I know they got the Long Johns and stuff. Sometimes I've had them before, but it's never my go-to. It's like what's left. You know?
For sure. That free box that's sitting around. Yep.
Yeah.
And you
go and you open it up and you're just like, do you want just like the white powdered donut, or you want the Long Johns with the chocolate and the nuts? You go, I don't have anything to drink, so I guess I'm going Long John. Because
you know that powdered donut you have to have something to drink with.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers will cinnamon challenge you if halfway through.
Right. You just got like dust all over your fucking mustache, and the people are just like, what are you up to? You just go, you don't fucking mind me, bro.
you rascal, you. What you doing? I know it's Friday, but I mean, not before 7 p.m.
I found a box of donuts.
I swear it's donuts, man. Have you ever made donuts?
Nope.
I love watching it. You ever watch it?
Yeah, I know how to make donuts. I've watched the mini donut machine.
Yeah,
those are fucking dope.
Yeah. Watching the mini donut machine. Shit, I forgot about that.
I love how there's like a little current to some of those. I've seen them made at Krispy Kreme too, a long time ago. They used to do Krispy Kreme in St. Cloud. So I don't know what the fuck happened to that. Why we don't have Krispy Kreme here anymore? But
there's no Krispy Kremes anywhere, as far as I know. They're like gone.
There was like you had like the oil, and it was kind of like a almost like there was a little bit of a current to it or something. If I'm remembering right, I
Yeah.
don't remember if there's
And it
something that was
floated 'em
pushing it the one
forward.
way. Yeah, and then there was like a conveyor belt
Yeah.
of wire stuff, and it would literally just kind of like grab it, and then it would float up.
Yeah.
So they'd just be on there like getting scooped up and moved down all the time. But it would just be that machine, and it's just you don't have to cut the hole out at all because it's just dropping the vat or the dough in that O shape.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they're throughout the entire dough tunnel. There's just a tube in the middle that keeps it from.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Just bloom, 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 dropping them in there.
Yep. I love watching that, dude. So fucking sweet.
Yeah. So I've never made them. I know what it takes to make those ones. And then funnel cakes are like the same batter.
Yeah, that's what I was going to add.
Yeah,
you made me think about that when you
said. You just take it and you just draw for a while until you go, yeah, I think that's a funnel cake or whatever.
I think close enough.
I think, yep. Just draw in the side, like be like, that's about the shape, like the same size as a paper plate, and done. And then take that out right away, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. The only difference is when you make it like that, there's definitely more of it gets fried. So it's crunchier.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't have that it doesn't have as much of that soft inner dough as a donut does, for sure.
Right. Yep.
I agree.
No, I've never even thought about making donuts because I was like, there's so much work. Donuts are like the cheapest pastry you can buy.
Right.
I'm just
and making them is
buy
so much more.
But the idea of making all the toppings for them too, like when you were talking about that, to just be like, I don't want to do all the work. I was thinking of just being like, can we just go and like order some? You guys, when you're making donuts this morning, can you just make like half a dozen and don't do shit to them?
Right. Can you literally just pull a dozen, half a dozen just pull them out of the vat and just put them in this box, please?
Yeah. They just be like, this, you don't want them flavored? No. I'm going to get weird with them.
That does sound fun. Just having like 6 or 12 blank canvases and then just mixing bowls. Like,
yep.
Yeah, dude. That
just empty the pantry. Just be like, what do y'all want to do?
I got food coloring. I got sprinkles. I got hot sauce. Everyone's like, what the fuck, hot sauce? Don't worry about it.
I'm going to put peanut butter and jelly on mine. But whatever you want on them. It is a pretty good idea. I'm just trying to think of like literally what's in my cupboard. Put on there.
Right.
I plug the donut hole up with a marshmallow, and then I'd drizzle some chocolate on top of it and crush up a graham cracker.
Yeah, dude, a s'more
donut.
That's a s'more donut. Sounds awesome. So good.
Got it.
I do
now
that.
I got to get a half dozen donuts and get crazy.
I saw, because I looked up some quick, like, goofy ones before, and I'm like, that's dumb. And then, again, these are usually cream filled, but like the round donut that doesn't have a hole in it, but it's like bigger than a donut, a little misshapen maybe. Those have a different name too, but I don't know. Anyway, someone took a fun-sized bottle of JMO and tipped it upside down and stuck it in there.
Get your little sidecar. I bet it would soak it up real good though.
Oh, I didn't think about that. It almost probably turned into.
I mean, you can get rum cake.
Rum cake's awesome.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that though.
I'd probably do that with a donut.
Yeah,
I was thinking, randomly going back to like the spicy thing, like hot tamales.
The candy
are like, yeah, they're like spicy. But is that just cinnamon?
Yeah, from what I understand.
So if you want to make it spicy, just get like some Big Red. Shave some Big Reds. Not the Big Red gum. Sorry, I'm thinking like
that's
the
what
candies.
I was thinking. I was like, yeah,
what do
so
you
you
call
just got a
those
bunch of
red
gum in your
candy?
dough? Gross, dude.
That would be disgusting. Just chew it for a while.
This is a chewy ass donut. What is up with this? It's so cinnamony.
Some of it's melting away, but there's something else still here for sure.
So gross.
That
sounds so horrible. Oh.
No.
Were you talking about what is it?
Those Red Hots.
Oh, Red Hots.
That's what I was thinking.
I thought you were talking about licorice. I think that's Red Vines.
Because you put like some people put Red Hots in their apple cider.
Oh.
It gives a little bit heat to that apple cider.
I never heard that one, but that.
Now we're just snowballing like crazy, right? We're taking this donut and we're putting a little bit of icing on there that we've incorporated some Red Hots that we've shaved somehow. I don't know. We did something.
Yeah, use a zester.
A zester? Yeah.
That might be hard. The Red Hot.
The Red Hot, there's so little, but if you could do maybe like mortar and pestle, grind that bitch into a fucking red powder.
Okay, that's a better idea.
I don't know. Maybe it's too candy-ish and you just smush it into a flat fucking thing. But then you take that and you kind of put it on the donut with some apple pie filling that you've like chopped up to it's not full giant chunks of apple. You got little tiny bits of apple.
Yeah.
Put it over there, red hot on there.
Oh yeah.
And then you shove a couple big red pieces of gum in that bitch and freak you
They'll fucking throw everybody off, and there you go. You have yourself a fall donut ready to warm you up in your core and fuck with your head.
The idea of it's great. But halfway through, you're real disappointed. Oh yeah, man! You could do a whole bunch of different stuff. Donuts are like literally anything that you can think of that you could top anything with. Think of a fruit, you can put any fruit on them. I don't know. There are blueberry donuts that have blueberries in the dough.
Yeah, like a blueberry muffin style.
Yep. And they do it with like strawberries and stuff too, and then you can like put icing on the outside. So you could do stuff like that.
Yeah.
You put any fruit you want in the dough and then put the icing on the outside. I wonder.
That's a good idea.
If you could start doing all that kind of stuff with well, now I'm trying to think of like you could make the dough like with the fruit and then put everything else on there. But I'm like, what do you put with that? And the answer is like cream. So it's like an icing.
Yeah.
Because strawberries and cream and peaches and cream.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Just make a heavy.
What if you put fruit in the dough and then instead of icing, you glaze that bitch with fruit dip?
Whoa.
Ooh.
We sound high right now, but I just want to.
I'm high. No. I'm tired. I stayed up way too late last night with the Timberwolves game, so I'm not running off of a lot of sleep.
Right.
And I am running off of a decent amount of caffeine. And for like the last half hour, my face has started to tingle. I don't know what that means.
Oh, God.
But I'm not high. But I do feel high. And my eyes look high because I don't know if you can tell, but we have lights.
Studio lights in here.
Studio lights to light us up. So when I am tired, I'm just like,
getting squinty.
Yeah, dude, what I could totally, I'm going to put marshmallows on a fucking donut.
I don't know. It was fun conversation.
Donuts.
It was fun hypotheticals.
Yes.
But yeah, let's wrap up. You're getting tired, getting late. Let's see. Like, subscribe, do the things. It helps us out, helps, hopefully find this thing. If you can think of anybody that we should collab with, leave it in the comments on YouTube. maybe we'll reach out to them. Maybe they'll reach out to us. I don't know why.
Yeah, you know somebody that makes donuts?
We'll
Let
collab
us
on
know.
that podcast.
Yeah, what's up, donut guy? Donut Lord. You seen Sonic?
Yes, that's a beautiful
Yeah.
Sonic reference. patreon.com/realaftv/ there's only one slash. You only need the one. patreon.com/realaftv. Remember, real like fish and real. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. You can call it both. Facebook.
Yep.
That's it. I think.
Yep. I don't know where you live. You can try yelling out the window. Maybe we'll hear you.
That's a great idea. Just yell it from the window. Check out the Real AFTV podcast. Remember, 2 E's in the middle.
2 E's. Or that, and you can yell to us. I'll try to hear it.